Good, let's see, afternoon, Friday. I'm glad it's Friday, and hopefully you are in an air-conditioned space. But I told you I'd be back, and it's taken a little longer than I was hoping, but I told you I'd be back to talk to you about voting, and voting for people that are taking the education of our children seriously and see the need for change in our state. And so first I'll start off with just a little bit of the last school board meeting. Currently being discussed, usually every school board meeting is a part of the 2030 vision for our school district, which is kind of a strategic plan. And their goal by 2030 is to have every second grader reading at grade level. So that's, 6 years. In 6 years, they're hoping to have every second grader reading at second grade level. Their goal for the 24-25 school year is that 67 of our second graders will be reading at grade level. The current percentage is 54%. Right now, this year, there were 352 second graders in our Walla School District, and only 54% of them are reading at grade level. And the goal for this year is 67%. Well, I hope that your kid is part of that 67%. It seems like a really low goal to me for reading. It does seem like the district is swinging back to a more traditional phonics-based reading, which I think is wonderful, and the way to go. So in that regard, at least they're moving in the right direction. I wish their goals were better, I guess is all I can say about that. So that's what happened at the last school board meeting. They were discussing all those kinds of things. I said I would be back to discuss who is putting education first in our state that is looking to be elected. First and foremost, vote. Vote, vote, vote. I don't care who you are, please vote. It is not hard to do. It's literally sent to us in the mail, and we fill it out, and we send it back, drop it off. I drop mine off at the ballot box. But I was quite intrigued when I opened my ballot and saw the 50 million names for each position, and the voters pamphlet was not extremely helpful. It was a little overwhelming. And so yeah, you might have to work a little bit to see who you really want to help, but I promise that it's worth it, because our students and our children's education is on the line, and so many other things in our state. I'm just choosing to pick one thing to focus on, and that's education. And so there were some people that specifically stood out to me regarding education. Before that, I want to go over just local people that are running that I think it's really important that we aren't thinking just state, but we're also thinking local. And the reason why local is so important is, and why the primary, lots of people don't think the primary is important. Well, as you can see, the millions of lists of people here, the primary is important, because who knows who's going to end up on that November ballot. And if we don't vote now, then we may not like who's on the November ballot. I want to like someone on the November ballot. Ballot is really hard to say fast a lot of times. So in our local area, we have Todd Kimball running for commissioner. He does not have a running mate, so that's an easy one. For state representative, we have Skylar Rude running. And for state representative position 1, we have Mark Clicker running, and I believe he is a great guy who has really tried to vote to benefit our area. Perry Dozier is another person. He's a state legislative district number 16. Good guy, voting for the right things and doing his best to fight the insanity in Olympia. These are all great people that I think we should be voting for. If Jenny Mayberry is on your ballot, she is only going to be on people that are in her district. You know, she has really done a lot for our county, and she really has a good focus on what is important to our area. You can like her personality, not like her personality, but when it comes down to it and what she stands for and who she is, she really has the best of Walla Walla at heart, and I truly believe that. So, I am going to go over some people that stood out to me in our state that I think have good priorities. The first one is extremely important. It is the Superintendent of Public Instruction. This position is currently held by Chris Reckdell, who is running again. I believe his policies have been disastrous for our state. And David Olson is running. And there are a lot of things that I really like about this guy. And he loves parent involvement. He thinks that's crucial. He thinks that local control to school boards, which is huge because our local school boards are very limited on what they can do right now because the state pretty much has control of everything, and I don't think that's right. And he wants expanding options for skilled trades. So those kids in high school that kind of know that they want to do a trade, like getting them into that sooner, which I think is extremely important, as I have kids that want to do that. Improving mental health for our youth, which is extremely important. He is for parental rights in our state, and he's into financial sustainability, which you hear a lot right now, that a lot of school districts are not financially stable or are not able to maintain what they were doing previously. You know, he's a retired Navy guy. He's been on a school board on and off since 2013. I believe he has the right mindset for the changes that need to be made in our state. And I'm super excited about him being on the ballot in November. So if you could vote for him or look into into everybody. I think everybody should do their own research. I'm just telling you what stood out to me. And you may have a totally different take like this. There's a couple good candidates running for Congress. And so it was really hard to choose. You know, there's, let's see, what's his name? Brian Danzel, good guy. Ultimately, looking at all the facts, I decided to vote for Jacqueline Maycumber. I really, really like her. Her major things that she wants to focus on are human trafficking, the narcotics crisis in our community. All of these things affect our children. Safeguarding children's education, supporting veterans, which I 100% believe in, defending our constitutional rights. I love that. The one thing that I really liked about her, and I don't know of any other person in our state that claims this or says this, and it's not just a claim, I know it's true. You can look it up and check her out. But she votes 100% of the time. You know, just because there are elected officials doesn't mean that they're voting. But she votes 100% of the time, even when it's those things that you think are like, oh, well, if I vote this way, then these people are going to be mad at me. Or if I vote this way, these people are going to be mad at me. Or like, there's no winning. She votes 100% of the time what she feels is the best option for our state. And I really appreciate that about her. Okay, moving on. U.S. Senate, we've got Raul Garcia. You know, he wants to focus on the drug crisis, cost of living in Washington, from childcare to rent, how we are one of the highest states in our country. He wants to focus on crime. He's also a doctor, so he wants to focus on the OBGYN shortage in our state. And that is real. My daughter is having a baby, and it is a little hard to find someone you connect with. There's not a lot of options. And so I really appreciate that about him. And again, that affects our kids because those are our kids. And the next person, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this person. Ultimately, he has come out, I believe, on top, speaking truth. And while there's been a lot of smear campaign against him, I really like this guy. Semi Bird for governor. You know, he wants a government accountability and transparency, fiscally responsible government spending, supports parental rights and transparency, accountability of public education, fully fund special education, enhance and focus on career and technical education. He believes in school choice. He wants to focus on the homeless crisis and mental health and addiction, which to me, all those are all clumped into one sometimes and very extremely important. He believes in the rule of law and safety in our communities. I can't argue with any of those things being super important to our state right now. So if you think, if this ballot is overwhelming to you, I agree, it is overwhelming. If you have questions, go on to their sites, go on to the different plays, Google them, find out information about them. If you want to talk to me more about it, message me. I'm happy to discuss it with you. But we have to vote. There's no other option. And I want to vote for people that are going to support my children's education and support my relationship with my children, staying connected to them. And so I just urge you to vote. And I'm looking forward to the primary. I'm looking for better voter turnout. I want that percentage to just skyrocket and just continue to go up as we enter November. And so just continue fighting for our state and what's right for our state, because I think things can change. I have hope that things can change. I hope you do too. And if you don't let it stop you from voting. You can still vote. So please vote for who you think is best. And I look forward to talking with you again.